see. Well, tomorrow at 2 o'clock, Southern Miss will be taking on Tennessee in a super regional to determine who's going to go to Omaha for the College World Series. With us on the line is Toby Barker, the mayor of Hattiesburg. Toby, how you doing this morning?
Doing well, Lucien. Hope everything's going well with you.
Going great. You excited for what I imagine will be a very busy weekend in the Hub City?
We are thrilled for so many reasons, but hosting a super regional for the second year in a row, we've been cutting grass and picking up litter for about 5 days straight now, but we couldn't be more excited to be doing it.
I know this isn't your first rodeo. It's not Hattiesburg's first rodeo. Y'all did it last year. But tell us a little bit about what it means for the city to have something like that coming to town.
Yeah, we've just had a great year with athletics, and I certainly want to mention also just William Carey going to the NAIA World Series. But it's the energy that it brings when Southern Miss does well in athletics, and we had a great basketball run with men and women. And now to have this year in Coach Berry's last year, who has been such a cornerstone of the community. His players are model citizens. We have 4 of them that live across the street from us, and they're part of the community. And so when something like this happens and you're trying to make sure that he goes out as he should, but also supporting those student athletes, the energy is at a fever pitch right now.
And I'm guessing, based on what you said before, it also puts a lot on the city itself to try to get ready because you want to put your best foot forward for folks from out of town who are coming in.
We do. We've got 400 road miles that come through our town, and so our crews have worked really hard to make sure that we put on the best face we can. It's a great city, and it's just so much talent and passion here, and so. We want to make sure, Southern Miss has always sort of had to kind of go with a chip on our shoulder, with kind of a very gritty attitude to try and find our place and compete in that next level. And so to have an SEC team coming to our house for a super regional, you want to put on your best face. You also just want to see our boys go out there and win.
Well, I think everybody in the state's a Southern Miss fan here for a little while. I think we'd all be thrilled to. We'd be thrilled to see USM go the distance, and at the very least, your hope that they're going to be going to Omaha and representing the state of Mississippi.
It'd be a great way to send out Coach Berry, kind of like we sent out Coach Palmer back in 2009, and we all remember that run and making the trip to Omaha, and I would love nothing more than to have to figure out where I'm going to stay next weekend because we get to go.
That is a problem I hope a lot of Southern Miss fans have, is trying to find a place in Omaha for a little while. This has got to have a pretty significant economic impact, right? The number of people who are coming in, eating in restaurants, staying in hotels, picking stuff up while they're there.
It does. I mean, I remember last year when we hosted the conference tournament, the regional and the super regional all in back-to-back weekends. It was about a $30 million economic impact.
Wow.
And the super regional itself, I think, there was about $4 million of spending during that weekend. And so we anticipate something like that, especially if it goes to 3 games. We hope, of course, that we're done in 2 and, we're celebrating on Sunday. But
with your mayor hat on, do you kind of hope it goes 3 games? And with your Southern Miss fan hat on, you hope you sweep them?
I want to get to Omaha, and as quickly as we can get there, I'm fine with it.
There we go.
We hope that maybe it's a late game on Sunday, and they have to stay the night anyway before they head back to Rocky Top. But we're going to be hospitable to our friends coming in. We have a lot of local restaurants that they can partake of, and no Applebee's though. Apparently, that's a thing that a lot of them wanted that we don't have anymore. But they can go to Laurel for that. But
I think you're
going to have a very hospitable but very Southern Miss atmosphere.
Yeah, I think the people complaining about Applebee's should Google Robert St. John and pick a place. And I know there are other great restaurants in Hattiesburg, but there are a lot of good opportunities even if you don't have an Applebee's. I didn't realize you were lacking an Applebee's, but you're right, that has become some sort of Twitter meme.
It has to eventually, you graduate from the bourbon chicken and the Oreo shake, and you move on to a little bit more sophisticated palate. But we're just glad they're here and hope they have a good time.
Well, tell us what else is going on in Hattiesburg these days.
It's a really neat time to be here. We've got lots of building projects going on. We're building 2 railway overpasses in our downtown, which solves the century-old transportation issue with blocked rail crossings, and Senator Wicker has certainly helped us out with that. We've got a water park under construction next to our zoo. Of course, our zoo has about over 200,000 people who come to visit it every year. But our zoo is building a water park next to it, which is kind of a neat piece to add to Camper Park. There's a lot of parks projects and infrastructure going on, and just a very thriving business community right now that's from Midtown to 98 down to the avenues in downtown. Just every part of our city seems to be seeing progress, and that's exciting to see.
The tennis courts are over by the zoo, aren't they?
That's correct. We have we're redoing the tennis courts. Of course, pickleball is the rage right now, so we're converting our 4 courts to 3 courts of tennis and 1 court of pickleball. We've got another tennis complex underway out in West Hattiesburg in a partnership with Lamar County. Of course, Tatum Park is always busy with that sort of tennis atmosphere. So it's just there's a lot happening in our city. It's so there's a lot of growth going on, and always something going on.
Well, it's a great spot, and I have to think it's the location of Hattiesburg. You know, you've got a great zoo, but it's a sort of place where you can easily make a day trip from whether you're in central Mississippi or South Mississippi. It doesn't, obviously, I'm sure you're happy when people come in, take a hotel room, spend the night, but it's the sort of thing you could easily on a Saturday morning pop down, have a full day, and be home in time for supper.
That's exactly right. I mean, so in downtown, we have the Lucky Rabbit, which is one of the most unique retail offerings in any downtown in the state of Mississippi, and we get people from all over the Southeast that are now coming in to see that. But while they're here, they go see the Pocket Museum, or they go to the Public Art Trail, or they don't want to stop into the Hattiesburg Zoo, or they're coming to Camp Shelby for the Armed Forces Museum. And so what we're hoping, as we continue to develop these destinations, is that these day trips will turn into 2- and 3-day trips. And Hattiesburg, I think, at last glance, was the 3rd most visited city in the state, and we want to get to number 2 and beyond.
Well, what are in terms of other things y'all are thinking about in the future? I mean, what do you see happening in Hattiesburg over the course of the next 3 or 4 years?
Well, I think that we've got sort of the key pillars of our economy. We've got healthcare with Forest General and Hattiesburg Clinic and Mary Health Westwood. You've got education with University of Southern Mississippi with William Carey, that's now has the largest med school in the state. With Pearl River, those are great employers. Camp Shelby down to our south, and so military education, healthcare have always been those key pieces. But now we're continuing to add manufacturing, particularly high-tech manufacturing. We've developed a mega site just about 2 miles south of the city between Forest County and Lamar County. And so I think that you're going to see continued focus on developing the manufacturing side to kind of be that 4th leg of the stool. We've got Jones Companies that's building a corporate headquarters in our Midtown area, which has been completely redone across the university. And, that's 250 jobs averaging about $80,000 a year.
Wow.
In this market, that's a big deal in terms of retaining talent. But ultimately, we've got a metro area where 40% of the population is below the age of 40. That's the highest concentration of millennials and Gen Z in the southeastern United States. And so we're poised to continue growing, and it's just an exciting time to be here.
Well, now my sense is the tickets are tough to get for the Super Regional. Have you managed to find a ticket to the game tomorrow, or are you going to be grilling out at home and watching it on the television?
I'm going to find a way into Pete Taylor Park, and
you probably know some people.
Can't make it to Pete Taylor Park. It worked out. But if you can't make it to Pete Taylor Park, we encourage folks to go to Spirit Park, which is right off of 4th Street, and there's going to be a live viewing there. Of course, every bar and restaurant, from Keg and Barrel to Robert St. John's restaurants, will have the game on, and encourage you to be part of just the atmosphere. I remember going to Atlanta in the World Series a couple years ago, and just existing in the space with such a fever pitch energy. And it was that way with Ole Miss last year. And I think it's going to be even more so this year because it's Coach Berry's last year.
It's been fun to watch people come together last year and then again this year who might not normally have been, last year Ole Miss fans or State fans the year before, Southern fans this year, and see people go, look, this is we're representing the state. We want to see them be successful, and I think it's a really nice thing to see.
Yeah, I mean, for example, Mississippi State and Ole Miss are kind of like, the brothers in the family, and you can pick on your brother, but if anybody else does, you've got each other's back.
Amen.
And so we would love to see Mississippi make a third year in a row win at the World Series, but we just want to win 2 games this weekend.
Well, here we go. Southern Miss to the top. Thank you for being with us, Toby.
Hey, thanks a lot. Southern Miss to the top.
We've had here Toby Barker, the mayor of Hattiesburg, talking a little bit about what's going on there and what's going to be going on this weekend. This is Lucien Smith in for Paul Gallo on the Gallo Radio.